Three, look out now. The sideline, forget about it. This baby's over.
Oh, my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
And most especially in 310 days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on the football field.
Another block. One more, he's gone. Touchdown, no flag.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins.
Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa, can they catch him? No, Donovan Edwards again. The down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Scarlet and Blue Show. We took a night off, took an episode off, actually. We had a busy week last week with the NCAA's criminal activity against my team and my coach. And so as we deal with that and kind of recover from that, we're going to get back going here. And we're excited this week because fall camp has started.
Yeah.
And Garrison,
I'm ready.
I know that we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and I know that you've got a lot of questions to ask. I'm very excited about. Mind you, I don't know what these are, but we talked about it a little bit today. Believe it or not, we do have pre-show meetings, and we're a little more buttoned up here than I think some people think. But what I want to get before we get to that is, did you see the ESPN intro hype video with Post Malone?
Dude, so I was going through Instagram and I saw you post it, and I said, what? Well, I gotta see this for myself. I watched it, man. Outside the second frame, outside of that, it was glorious. That got I think I shed a tear.
The juices were flowing, brother, and it was.
Oh man,
it was magnificent. Because let me just kind of share some things. So, you and I both, I know I can speak for you here. We give college football season our all, and that sounds ridiculous because we're not on the team, but we are just so passionate about it, and we love it, and it's not a full-time job, but it's a full-time thing that we just love. And so, I don't know about you, man, but once you get to that second weekend of January and Georgia's just won the national championship, you're almost just kind of like, okay, all right, I'm tired. And
yeah,
because your team didn't do as well as you wanted them to do. The other part of it is just that it's been a long couple months. And I always feel like I just need a break, right? And maybe a part of that too is because I just lose all of my bets from college this over the course of the season, and I'm out whatever money I put in. But you get a video like that comes out, and the song and the highlights and just everything that comes with it, and we're back. I know I said we're back before, man, but that one did it in to where I'm more or less like you said, I might have shed a tear. And I'm ready.
Oh yeah, man. No, it's kind of like kind of like in a game where your coach tells you, hey, okay, guys, time to settle down the game now. That's how I feel about the season coming up.
Yes.
And I am so excited. I mean, I put it on Twitter earlier today, probably a couple hours ago. I was just thinking about our show today. I am super excited for Ohio State's team this year. I'm just excited for the college football season in general. Maybe we get closer to week 0. I have a list of things across the country that I'm actually really excited for a few players, few teams, few coaches. But yeah, man, we're here. We're finally here.
We're here. It's like August 1st hits and everything changes. And then camp starts, which is why I got the coaching visor on. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to get out there and play. And
I'll tell you what, Bryce, but I will say this to go back to what you said earlier. When you said right after the season, you kind of like just want to like woo-saw for a second. Let's be completely honest here, Bryce. Over the last 2 years of Michigan beating Ohio State, you have not woo-sawed for 1 second after that game. So for you to sit here and act like you've been taking a break, that is completely false. That is not true.
I know I'm supposed to challenge you in this show and stuff, but I got nothing. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
With the visor, man, the hair, you're kind of like a young Hugh Freeze right now.
Yeah, I feel like there are other coaches you probably could have compared me to there. Don't love that as a Hugh Freeze one, but we'll get by. All right, Garrison, Dean, we've got a lot to talk about. Lots happened, but as you said, there's a lot that's gone on. Garrison and I are talking about it today. The news cycle changes so quickly here, and it's only August 2nd, and this episode will come out August 3rd, and 24, 23 days till week 0 starts. I know you got some things to dive into. You've been busy on Twitter. If you don't follow Garrison on Twitter. We'll put the handle right here, but he's got some things. So, my friend, floor is yours.
Go ahead and mute yourself for a second. Because I'm gonna do a standby for this one. It won't be too long. It's just a series of things that I have written down, and then 3 questions I have for you. So basically, Bryce Sack, what I came to you about was that I don't think Michigan's on the climb and on the rise that you believe they are, and that that a lot of Michigan fans believe they are on. And so I jotted down a few notes, and I want to bring this to your attention. College football is a Jimmy and Joe sport. And if I have more Jimmys and Joes than you do, I win more times than not. Of course, that's not always the case, as you know. But I just want to point this out to you. These are the class rankings from 22 to the current one we have right now, okay, in 24. Michigan, currently 4th. In 2023, they were 20th. In 22, they were 12th. And in 21, they were 12th. I'm sorry. Yes, and they're 12th also in 21. Now, let's zoom up a little bit for these other 3 elite programs. Ohio State, 24, currently 2. 23, 5th. 22, 4th. 21, 2nd. Has 7 5-stars in that class, by the way. Bama, 24, 14th currently, but they're going to rise up pretty soon here. In 23, they were 1. In 22, they were 2. And in 21, they were 1. Georgia goes 1, 2, 3, 4. College football is about staying power. If you want to continue to win championships, you have to have the guys to do it. I question on that forefront if Michigan actually has the guys to do it. If they have the Jimmys and the Joes and it's not just about depth, but the elite depth, especially at the skill position. Of course, now, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you guys have J.J. McCarthy right now, very good quarterback. And you have Jaden Davis coming on soon. And then like I said, we'll talk about that later. But what about everybody else? What about everybody else? Like, even if I talk about your running backs right now, after Corum, after Donnie, I don't think any of your running backs would start on a lot of teams. I really don't. I truly believe that. Let me go a little bit further in this. In 2015, you guys went 10-3. In 2016, you went 10-3. 2017, 8-5. 2018, 10-3. 19, 9-4, and 20, you went 2-4, of course, with the COVID year. You currently had 2 really good seasons. I say all this, Bryce, to tell you, you guys aren't as steady as you think you are. You guys go up and down, up and down. I mean, you know, and I know Michigan fans want to say Citrus Bowl. I mean, bowl games don't matter the same way you guys think stars don't matter for recruits, even though your quarterback's a 5-star. That's another story. Bowl games matter to me, and there's a certain type of bowl games that actually matter because you actually go against good talent. You go against really good talent and some elite talent from other teams. Citrus Bowl, Jim Harbaugh's first year, W. Now as follows: Orange Bowl, L. Outback Bowl, L. A lot of people want to crap on that's actually a really good bowl game. Go check the teams that played in that before. Citrus again, L. Orange again, L. Fiesta this past season, L. To one of the least talented teams in college football playoff history. Only 13% of TCU was actually blue chip, by the way. So, with all that information that you have, and you may now turn your mic on, I have a question for you. Here's question number 1. Is Michigan on a real rise?
Is Michigan on a climb? Absolutely.
So it's not just like those 2 10-win seasons you guys had in a row. It's not like that, and then you go and drop off 8-5.
No, not this year, at least. Not this year.
Not this year.
No. So the crux of what you're saying is, can Michigan continue to be at this level? Because right now, it's fair to say
with the way they recruit.
So a couple things to that, but just to get back to the root of your question, you're saying, can Michigan sustain this level of, let's call it eliteness. So for 2022 and for going into 2023, Michigan is one of the elite teams, right? Let's put them out there: Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Okay, well, I know you're not going to say yes to that, but most people are going to say yes to that. I think ESPN today posted something: who's going to challenge Georgia, and the three teams were Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and then a little question mark box. So they're considered there whether you like it or not. So the question is, can they sustain that? So are they recruiting at the same level, kids outside of high school, as Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State? The answer is no. They're just not. We've seen that this year. Best year in recent history, and we're probably going to finish somewhere between 5 and 10 in the rankings, unless something crazy happens, which I'm okay with that. We can talk about that later. You would love to, of course, be higher, but I think the one thing, because I'll agree, Garrison, recruiting is important. You can win games on coaching and schemes, but you win championships with the talent. And so 2 thoughts to this. One, I think the transfer portal has changed that a little bit, because you can get talent now and you can make up for the loss of recruiting. I thought Michigan did an excellent job of that with the 2023 class. So I feel good about that. Where I don't feel good, and why I think this year has to be the year for Big Blue, is that you need those layers of depth. Let's use Alabama, for example. You probably put this with other teams, but Alabama's 2s and 3s, 5 stars, 4 stars, maybe 3 stars, maybe. And they're seniors who've been in the program for a while. So you go down their depth chart through the positions. They've got talent there. When the playoff expands to 12 teams, that's going to be much more important, because there are going to be injuries. There always are. I mean, Blake Corum got hurt week 11 going into essentially what many viewed as a playoff potentially game, right? So you need to be able to go 2s, 3s, sometimes 4s, at least just for depth. So if you want to talk about the long-term picture, that is something that, I'm not going to lie, I'm concerned about to a degree and wary of. For the next couple of seasons, though, I think we're all right. And there's a lot of reasons for my positivity there. But the last thing I'll just say is Aaron Scott committed this week to Ohio State. We can touch on that briefly. That feels like old news, but that wasn't that long ago. Mm-hmm. The fact that Michigan was even in that conversation, and I don't know how close Michigan actually was. It sounds like he was right there, or Michigan was right there.
By the way he trolled you guys, Bryce, I know what I said beforehand. It looks like you guys are never. He was never going there.
He said he was.
To troll. That was a troll, Bryce. To pull out the.
So that was a troll. It was hilarious. If it wasn't my team, I think it'd be much funnier. But that was a troll. But he said, I listened to some Buckeye show on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Schmuck was talking to him, and at one point Scott said, I was going to go to Michigan, and then you went visit Ohio State. Bryce West recruited him. I think he had a good conversation.
You guys hear that a lot.
But the fact, Garrison, that like the fact that we're in that conversation with them, and he said Michigan beat Ohio State and Columbus was huge. If Michigan goes and beats Ohio State again this year, we could see some things change. I'm not saying we're going to scoop out the top talent in Ohio, but you could potentially see things change. So,
okay,
is Michigan on the rise? Are they going to be consistent over the next 3-5 years with Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia in recruiting and talent? Tough to say that with the way the rankings are projected. But if 2023 is a year for Michigan that they win another 12 games, things can change, man. Things can change.
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair answer, Bryce. All right.
Cordial. I don't like this. What's next?
Number 2. And let me make sure when I say this, you understand how I'm asking this, because a lot of you Michigan fans like to act as though football started in 2021. So I'm giving this a 5, Bryce. I'm talking about probably a 5. This is a 5-year span. Okay. So I'm taking these last 2 seasons that you guys have had. It's great years, and the 3 before that. Okay. Matter of fact, Bryce,
are you going to count the candy cane COVID year?
Yes, I am. Hey, Bryce. As far as I'm concerned, the University of Michigan before that season was talking about how good their staff is there.
You don't
Yes, I
remember
do.
what was said.
Bro, it was literally, I literally remember Michigan talking about the University of Michigan talking about how good they are with COVID, how they're probably one of the best medical
Yeah.
staffs in the nation. Ah! You took the field.
But that's it.
So you took the
All
field,
right.
Bryce.
Can I just make kind of one take on the COVID
Go
year?
ahead.
Drop it out there. I was thinking to myself, why do you need this? Why are you so adamant on the COVID year when everyone else thinks it was just a toss away?
Everyone else does. Ask everyone in Tuscaloosa.
I bet you, I was gonna bring them up. I bet you with all their national championships, they're just like, that's fine, whatever.
All right, Bryce. Well, Bryce, you can say that, Bryce. That's easy for you to say because you never see your team win one.
I was 7. Thank you.
They didn't win it. They shared it.
The other thing, they were number one.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say this. You guys need to the 2020 season. You as Buckeye fans today need that season to happen, and here's why. One, it gives what's his face? Vanilla Bread. Oh, Ryan Day. It gives him the same number of conference championships as Jimbo. 2, it allows you to get your playoff win. So the one thing that you hold over Jimmy is the playoff win, which you guys need that to happen. 3, it lets you beat Clemson, your apparently rival in the postseason. If you guys don't have that candy cane year where you only played 5 regular season games, not a math guy, but that's less than half of an intended season. You played 5 games. You weren't even supposed to be in the Big Ten championship. The rule was to play 6 games, but of course they coddled to you, and then they said, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you guys can go in." So you got all of those things in that year. So that year is critical for your guys' bragging and Yahoo and hoopla. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry, continue with your question.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done.
Are you done? Okay. So remember, I said, Bryce, for your sake, we could take out the 2020 year, buddy.
Thank you.
That's how nice I feel. So
what a guy.
So he was 22, 21, 19, 18, 17. There we go. Is Michigan a top 5 program?
From that stretch?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, maybe.
Well, thank you for answering my question.
So, of that specific time frame, yeah.
Well, Bryce, because 2 years is not a come on. I just want to hear you do that for me. Thank you.
Yeah, but over the course of those 5 years, let's see. Ohio State got a new coach. Oklahoma got a new coach. And I guess Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama. So 2 of the 5 teams got a new coach. So my point is that a lot can change over 5 years. It's a very specific time.
Yes, very true. That's my last question for you. How do I want to ask this one?
Do it. Hit me. Now I'm all fired up.
I have a bet. Let's say I had a bet for you, okay? Simple bet. Would you bet you not getting to eat your mom's food for a whole year to bet that Michigan wins a natty over the next 5?
Would I be willing to bet?
So if Michigan doesn't win a champion, if Michigan doesn't win a championship over the next 5 years, you are not allowed to eat your mom's wonderful cooking. And we know how great that cooking is.
Well, that's some darn good cooking.
Are you willing to bet that Michigan win a natty over the next 5 years? I'll give you 3.
I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be this year. And would I be willing to bet my mom's cooking
for a whole year?
But I would say if the stakes were beyond that, probably not, because Georgia's not going anywhere and Alabama's back.
Who else is still alive, Bryce? Who else is still alive?
You got Ryan Day, though, man. Until he proves otherwise, I'm not going to be able to buy into his hype. I'm sorry.
Bryce, your coaches have been in Ann Arbor for 8 years and has won the conference twice. Well,
Ferrari.
Okay, those are just my. I was just really curious about what you thought about the future of Michigan football. That was all I had for you.
Yeah, I think I gave hopefully an honest answer. Hopefully everyone watching appreciates that. I'm not going to be
I think you did.
Crazy fanboy.
I think you did.
Thank you. I I do. I feel very positive. I do get nervous though, the 12-team playoff, because I think obviously if things change, right? It's going to be easier to make the playoff than it is with 4 teams, just by the process of math. And it does make me nervous to play 3 games to get to a national championship or whatever the total is based on 5.
Yeah.
And if people go down, right, like you need people ready to go. And again, could Michigan change things and you beat Ohio State again this year, go to repeat what you've done the last 2 years?
Yeah.
The things could very much, happen that way. But it's one of those things where could it happen? Absolutely. Could the Natty this year? Absolutely. Could you take a step back when you lose 20 draft picks next year or at the end of this year, according to Bruce Feldman? Once Michigan loses 20 draft picks, like there's a lot of holes to fill.
That might have been the most asinine thing I ever heard in my life. That was just, there's a lot of words I would use for that, Bryce, for that take.
And I want to address 2 other things that you said, because those are very good questions, Garrison Dean. I appreciate those.
I put my time in, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good question. Good questions. I'm sure you've gotten other people's thoughts, but we'll open it up to the audience as well. 2 things. One, I love our running back room. I love it. I think
no. You love your top 2.
No. No, brother. Well, I love my top 2. Yes, you are correct. But 3 and 4, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out, because you got some older guys in the room, CJ Stokes, Tavi Dunlop. Those guys, I don't know.
Is it Hall?
But then you've got Benjamin Hall.
Yeah. I think he's the third best back.
He could be the third best back. And then you've got Cole Cabana as well, who according to the offseason has been pretty good out of the backfield. Don't say it. I know what you're don't say it. He's so
hey man, what did Deion Sanders say when he saw that white kid for the 40?
Dude, it reminds me of Sam McGuffey, honestly.
He can run.
I'll never forget Sam McGuffey's kick return against Ohio State.
Oh,
it was just
welcome to the Big Ten, kid.
I think that sent him back to Rice, down to Texas.
Down to Texas, man. Down to Texas.
I will add too. So the bowl season, you and I've talked about this. We haven't really talked about this on the show, but you know how I feel, and we probably disagree. I don't really care about bowl games per se, but you're all right. There are some that mean more. So if we go through history, the 2015 game against was it Florida? Yeah, Florida. Mm-hmm. That one was a nice win to have, right? But I'll tell you what, that's a bowl game I don't care about. It's such a bowl, and it's fine.
Well, how many wins did Florida have that year? Was it 7?
That would have been.
Was it 8? They weren't that good that year.
Was he the coach? That was before Mullins, right? Dan Mullins. I think it was Greg McElwain was, I think, the coach during that season. I don't know. So that was a win. That was just kind of whatever. The Orange Bowl loss, we lost by 1. We lost Jake Butt in that game, and then Peppers didn't play. Peppers was a good enough player to make a 1-point difference. I believe that.
Bryce, if you know analytics, your safety or / linebacker, I not kid you, does not add up to 1 point. That's actually statistically not true.
Where are you pulling these numbers from?
Bryce, go look it up, dude. Players like that don't add up to that.
But he was the best player on the team. It impacts more than just the safety linebacker position. So having him,
he was the best player on that team.
Oh yeah. On the 2016 team, Jabril Peppers. Get back to me who you think was better.
I'm not gonna.
South Carolina.
I'm not gonna say the name. I don't want to say that name. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
So South Carolina, the Outback Bowl, a tough loss. Again, don't care. Fine bowl, right? Outback Bowl is a fine bowl. That one, I'm not gonna lose sleep over.
It's a tier. Would you call it a?
It's not
tier 2, tier 3.
Is it New Year's 6, right? I think it's technically New Year's 6.
It's not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, so the bowl games you guys have played in, even though like people want to like downplay the bowl games, but no, and I don't want to hear about, oh well, so and so didn't play. Oh, that's why we have something called depth. So like you play these games. What am I supposed to do with it?
It's different when it's a guy like Peppers. We're going to talk about having him out. Like that guy was the most exciting player on the field. Like he had such a great impact, and who knows what he's going to do on offense.
I saw Ohio State play a whole playoff with a third-string quarterback, Bryce. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, well, the quarterback wasn't carrying you that game. All right, and then South Carolina, yeah, don't care. Peach Bowl against Florida. that was just a bad loss. So that one sucked because it was such a bad loss. If we lose that game by 3,
That was right after though. Was that right after the 63 points?
Yeah, it was
That
tough
was right
stretch.
after. Yeah, 100 points in 2 games.
Tough stretch. Oops. And then so then it was Alabama after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like that's one of those where it's like, okay, you want to think you can compete because Bama was down that year. And that was the beat down as well. So that one sucks. So my point is in all this, and then you get to playoff games, the Georgia game, no one's beating Georgia that year. And then we've talked about TCU ad nauseum, where I stand on that. So there are a few
The media didn't think so.
There are a few games in there that definitely were sucky losses, but for the most part, there are some games in there I could care less about, win or lose. So
if they were all New Year's Six bowl games, would you think different? Not all playoff games, but those are all New Year's Six. Would you think different?
I don't care. I think, Garrison, if you want to consider yourself a big time program,
you have to win bowl games.
You have to win. You have
Bryce. Bryce. No, Bryce. They have Bryce. Those games have to matter.
Playoff, and then I think you have to get
Bryce before the playoff came. Is it you had to win those games? If you were in the Fiesta, if you were in the Rose, if you were in the Sugar, you had the Orange Bowl. You had to win those games. There's a reason why, and it's funny because your coach is a spitting image of his idol.
Football has changed since the 80s, man.
But his idol is still 2-8 bowl games. Just like he's
that's
worse.
Bad. Yeah, that's bowl games. The measure there was so much different back then. This
in the early 2000s, 2010s, you don't think bowl games mattered?
Before the playoff, sure. A BCS, like winning the Sugar Bowl in 2011 was pretty cool, right? I
think it's still pretty cool. I'm very happy that we beat USC on Urban Meyer's last game in the Sugar Bowl. I am very happy about that.
That's different because that was Meyer's last game.
I don't care, baby. I don't care if it was his first game. We beat USC in a New Year's Six game.
When you guys beat Utah in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, Bryce. Bryce. I was ecstatic. Oh, Bryce. Hey.
Wait. The fans, Garrison.
I'm not lying to the fans. I'm not lying to these good people. What I'm telling you is this. I just saw my team come off a loss to Michigan, a very tough loss to a team that ran the ball. We were about to face a team who did the same thing with a better quarterback.
Yeah, their quarterback got the first quarter.
No, he didn't.
Their backup quarterback. They did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Bryce. See, that's the problem. Michigan people talking Ohio State football. Cam Rising got hurt on the third to last drive of the game. On the drive he got hurt, Bryce Sack. Then the backup scored.
Yeah,
do a dime in the back of the end zone. What are we talking about? Go ahead, fact check it, Bryce. Fact check it.
Oh, start of the fourth. All right, I'm sorry, but that wasn't the second to last drive. That was the start of the fourth quarter. 10 minutes ago in the fourth.
Bryce,
the back quarterback, and then you won by what? A touchdown? What was the final of that game?
Bryce, on that drive, they scored. We get the ball, won, or scored the one.
Would you rather?
I'm gonna be honest.
Would you rather won the Rose Bowl that year or made it to the playoff? Just made it.
Who was in the playoff that year?
Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati, Bama. And you would have been in Michigan shoes. So you would have been number 2. You would have played Georgia.
I'll take my chance. Bryce, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, JSN. I'll take my chances.
Just answered the question. You would rather?
Yes. I'll take my chances in that, Bryce. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy about winning the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, but my point is, if you're a program like Ohio State, Bama, and Georgia, anything. Let me tell you this. Do you think Alabama cared at all about beating Kansas State in a New Year's Six Bowl this year?
They sure as hell looked like it. At the end of the game, they sure as hell looked like it.
I don't think they cared one bit.
I think you are taking the game of football for granted.
I'm not. I think if you want to hold yourself to be an elite program, you have that should be the expectation. Now, Garrison, do I wish they would win these bowl games?
You, sir, have no place in telling me, an Ohio State fan, what an elite program should look to aspire to look like.
I'm not telling you anything, brother. I'm just trying to just show you how it's supposed to be. And I don't know, maybe you're not interested in that.
Show me how it's supposed to be.
All right. Well, that was fantastic. I'm not even gonna open that up because we know how this goes.
No, let's not do that, right? We'll rabble on, Bryce.
Yeah, well, we'll wrap this up here. We'll dive in as camp goes on. We'll obviously go into more of the storylines that come out. The first question was Marvin Harrison's photo today that I think they shared, was that photoshopped? He looks much bigger. I think the magic of lighting and angles and photos.
Do you see JJ? Did you see JJ?
I'm just messing with you. I bet you.
No, I'm asking, did you see him?
Did I see him in
the picture today? Of JJ? Bryce, he looks big. He looks big. His neck got bigger. His arms got bigger. Shoulders need to get bigger, but no, he looks good. He looks good.
I feel like it was a good offseason for a lot of these big time players. A couple things just to roll through, Garrison. I know we have other things to talk about, but we'll save those maybe for later, just with the time. I want to go back to a few things over the past week. The picture of the food at the barbecue at the big house. Take off your hater hat. Could it have been a prime rib? Yes. Could it have been a nice brisket, slow cooked from somebody who came up from South Carolina? Sure. But you're telling me that wasn't a good plate of food? You're telling me you wouldn't eat that?
Bryce, this is a family-friendly show, so I'm not going to say what I really want to say about who I think was eating, who might have been eating a plate like that. But Bryce, we're talking a hot dog. It's called a cookout, correct? Cookouts don't boil hot dogs.
There were some grill marks on it.
Man, they boiled it and threw it on there for a quick second. Who eats chicken tenders at a cook?
Those look.
Woo! Who eats chicken tenders? Bryce, that mac and cheese. I'm black, Bryce. That mac and cheese was trash. That was trash. What would do? Listen, man. And the thing is, shout out to my guys in the Navy. They know I'm not the best at making mac and cheese, but I sure enough know what it looks like when it's good. And that wasn't. They didn't even have any seasoning on it, man.
Come on, man. The side you could add it.
Bryce, I could go to Russ's.
Oh, shout out Russ's
and get more food and get better food than that.
That's a horrible take. Now you're just being a hater. Russ is just not comparable.
And then let's talk about. Let's go back to the chicken tenders. I didn't realize this until Zach Smith said something about it. There's no sauce on that plate. There's no sauce on that plate. Now I don't know if that kid depends on.
That's the kid's choice. He can do whatever he wants.
That kid has a horrible palate.
Well, that's between you and Zach. All right, buddy. Good stuff. We'll see everyone again next time.
Tuesday. Well, it was everybody Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot happening. So.
Amen.
All right, man.
See y'all soon.
See ya.